we won the pandemic economically. I mean, America.
Did? God, I don't feel that way. Explain it to me. I feel like inflation's insane.
Inflation is not insane.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Bill Maher getting destroyed, annihilated, wrecked by Jillian Michaels over the concept, the idea, the reality in this country of inflation. Now, we all know that everything is more expensive. Everything. And one of the main ways we know about things being more expensive is just trying to buy food, trying to eat, a thing that we all got to do, whether you eat a lot, whether you eat a little bit, we all got to eat, and that has gone through the roof. And depending upon where you live, it has astronomically gone through the roof. Shout out to my California viewers. I don't know how you're making it, really, because things were already expensive in California. Try buying a gallon of gas. Try buying a house even back many, many years ago. Some of these things right now is like a dream. Home ownership, forget about it. There was a post on the internets, and the question was, name something that once used to be normal that is now considered a luxury. Now, one thing that was said, unfortunately, was food, but another thing, home ownership. Try buying a house right now, you can forget about it. High interest rates, high prices, everything has just gone way through the roof for a variety of reasons. But the big issue here is inflation, from money printing, foreign wars, things of that nature. And I think Bill Maher does not really understand it. When you're a rich guy living in the ivory tower, things are different to you. You're not really worried about the cost of small things like you and I, like many of us are. Going to buy a pack of chicken or something like that, going out to eat and spending $20. It's now $25. It's like $20 is a new $5. Maybe Bill Maher doesn't understand it, but Jillian Michaels most certainly does. Now, before I go any further, let's get into the clip. I will link to the clip and the full podcast. I think it's called Club Random with Bill Maher. I'll link to that in the description. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
But isn't it amazing to you? Like it was in the paper today about this country came out of the pandemic way better. We won the pandemic economically. I mean, America.
Did? God, I don't feel that way. Explain it to me.
Now, I got to pause it at certain points because this is his podcast. And Bill, if you hear the sound of my voice, don't give me a copyright claim, sir. Let me live. Let me rock.
I feel like inflation's insane.
Inflation is not insane.
Bill, go buy a car.
There's numbers. Oh, I understand things,
house
but it has
tripled here.
Look, I get that people
buy some fucking eggs.
Yeah, for real. Everything, eggs, a house, a car, everything has gone through the roof. I saw something about, speaking about vehicles, the average car payment is like $1,000. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I saw something like that, like a new car payment, like $1,000. Now, if you're paying $1,000 per month for a Toyota Camry, I mean, I just don't understand. I really don't get it. Used cars are becoming more expensive because there's a higher demand for those due to the new cars costing more than what they should. Then you have these things, I forget what it's called, a dealer add-on, market rate increase. So the MSRP might be X, and then they put another 5 to 10 grand to make it become Y. They just randomly bump the price up. Ridiculous. These are things that are going on right now out in these streets with the inflation we're experiencing.
Explain it to me. I'm not an economist.
There's feelings, and then there's the numbers.
Okay, what are the numbers?
The numbers have come down a lot in the last 6 months.
Okay.
Of course, it was inevitable when we gave out $6 trillion so that everybody could hide under the bed from the forever flu.
Very good point. I mean, I agree with that, Bill Maher. Bill Maher is the kind of guy I can agree with sometimes. Sometimes, maybe about half of the time I agree with what he says. What he said right there about the inflation from the money printing from the forever flu, right on point. Absolutely. Now, as far as inflation coming down within the past 6 months, well, maybe that's true according to some numbers, but that doesn't mean that we still are not experiencing inflation. That does not mean that we are out of the woods. That does not mean that things aren't astronomically expensive. But maybe he's comparing the U.S. to other nations.
That was never going to end well.
It was taken by the richest people ever and
And
didn't
it was,
get where it needed to
a
go.
lot of it was stolen. It was, we agree on that too. It was like, was there some response needed? Of course, you don't want the hospitals overrun, but it was.
That, by the way, that never happened. The hospitals being overrun, it never happened. Remember when they said, oh, the hospitals are overrun and we need more help and do more and do more. And then they brought that ship out there to New York, the hospital ship, with all these beds and doctors and nurses, and it barely got used. Now, if the hospitals were truly overrun, they were beyond capacity, they needed the help, then why was that ship barely used? If at all. Why? It's because it was a lie. The hospitals were not overrun. And you know what else? The reason why I know that there was not an overrun in the hospitals is because you had all these nurses doing elaborate TikToks. You had nurses creating their own musicals on social media due to the lack of things to do in the hospital. So I'm not trying to hear any of that, oh, we were overcrowded nonsense.
Was just a massive overreaction, and that did cause some of the inflation.
Yeah, so, okay, Bill Maher, I'm glad you understand that there's inflation going on, that we have a serious issue with it, but that's not something that should really be a revelation. Everybody knows we got inflation going on. Come on, Bill, like, that's not even an argument worth having. And you know what? This article right here kind of proves it. Remember this? I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. $18 Big Mac meal. Now, you see the headline here on Vox. Are $18 Big Macs the price of falling inequality? What does that mean? Because we're paying these people $1 million an hour, that you got to bump up the price of food to compensate? Is that kind of what that means? Is that a good thing? And then it says even socialists are bristling at the rising cost of fast food. But now this right here, $18 Big Mac, I think somewhere in California, of course, there's a Big Mac meal that cost $18. Now, what's in the meal? The Big Mac sandwich, the hamburger, right? A pack of fries and a drink. $18 US. I mean, what in the world? That's crazy. You can buy a whole pizza. Well, maybe you can't anymore. I'm not really sure. But $18, that kind of thing is happening all over the place. And it's so bad. There's even an article on LinkedIn. There's a LinkedIn piece about this. Okay, the CEO had to respond. So the CEO, Kempinski, and I know I'm butchering this Polish name wrong. Shout out to the Polish people. So the CEO told analysts during Monday's earnings call that affordability will be the company's focus this year, pointing to challenges in retaining the low-income consumer. Imagine McDonald's having issues retaining the low-income consumer. I remember back in the day, as I close, I can go to McDonald's and get items for $1 US. $1. If I got $1 in my pocket and a hunger pain in my stomach, I would be good to go. But now, if I got $1, what am I going to do with that? What can I do with $1? I can't do nothing but put it in my pocket and hope that I can get about $10 more on the low end to get something to eat. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Bill Maher and Jillian Michaels for having the conversation. And also Jillian Michaels, a very brave woman, talking about being physically fit during a time where obesity seems to be popularized and normalized. She's like, hey, what we doing, Lizzo? Let's tighten up. These are kind of like more liberal people who have kind of been left and cast away by their own party. So shout out to them for being brave enough to say some things that their own people that they know, some of their friends and family might disagree with. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what Bill Maher was saying that we won the pandemic war, that we are not really experiencing inflation that much? Yeah, there's some because of the 6 trillion, 10 trillion, whatever kind of $1 trillion we printed, or 33 trillion in debt. Yeah, there's some inflation, but it's come down, so it's not as bad. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Inflation is a very, very serious thing. If it has gone down in the past 6 months, I can't tell. I cannot tell. And you guys in California, wherever you are in the world, in the USA specifically, especially, I would say, let me know your experience with inflation. Has it gotten better? Has it gotten worse? If it's gotten better, by how much? Can you measure it? Is it 50% decrease, 10%, 5%? Like, what's going on in your world when it comes to the reality of inflation? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.